Nice to be back, it really is. Hey, I'm coming up on my 37th wedding anniversary. Thank you. Same woman. That's right. I met her at a comedy club. She was a waitress at a comedy club in the back of the room. I couldn't see her, but I heard this beautiful laugh. I fell in love with her laugh before I even saw her. She was a smoker 37 years ago, so I don't care what anybody says. Smokers have the best laughs. All that gasping, gagging, wheezing is music to a comic's ears. So I'm on stage and I heard this beautiful sound coming from the back of the room. Couldn't wait to meet her. So I get off stage and run the back of the room. She's not there. Is she dead? Where'd she go? Came out, leather skirt, white blouse, permed, 1985, permed hair. Bumped into her, 2 doves flew out. I knew this was the one, that's it. That's right. And we spent a week together. She was a single mom, had a 2-year-old son. And if there were dating apps back in 1985, because my profile, if I was honest, would have read, alcoholic drug addict with rage issues looking for single female to overlook aforementioned character flaws. So, shockingly, we hit it off. I was living in LA, she was in Ohio. January, I flew her and her son out and spent a week. I played dad, took the boy to Disney World, went to the beach. April, I'm flying out on a red eye, and about 3 hours into the flight, about 3 in the morning. Not a good time to make decisions, but I was awake. I decided I'm gonna ask her to marry me. And anyway, that was it. I had no ring, no plan, never even had the thought before. Just figured, okay, it was an impulse. And if there's a single man listening to me here, not a good idea. That's all I'm saying. If you want to do something impulsive, buy a pair of shoes. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, we get to the airport at Cleveland Airport. I'm standing by baggage claim, waiting for the luggage, and I say to her, Tammy, I love you, I love Aaron. Do you want to get married? And Tammy goes, pardon me? I said, do you want to get married? You and I, as if she didn't know who I was talking about. And she thought about it and she said, yeah, I guess if that's what you want. That's how excited she was at the prospect of spending the rest of her life with me. It was no different if I said, hey, you want to go to McDonald's for breakfast? Yeah, if that's what you want. And that was it. We got married. We decided to get married. I gave her a hug and a kiss and we got the luggage and left. And I can tell you, she had no idea the baggage she picked up that day. I was 30 years old when we got married. She was 25. This may surprise some younger people here, but our bodies have changed in 37 years. How we've handled the change, I'm okay with being 67. I really am. Tammy, having a hard time with 61. Now she's obsessed with these non-existent black hairs on her lip. I'm telling you, you can't see a thing. She'll stand in the living room some nights and go, I don't know how you can kiss me anymore, Jeff. I'm a hairy beast. What are you talking about? I don't see anything. What do you mean you don't see anything? I have a goatee, Jeff. Look at this. It's a goatee. Babe, I can't see a thing. She goes, you're not looking. Takes me to the... Have you seen the makeup mirror? Have you seen a makeup mirror? Magnify... Well, ladies, why do you buy these torture devices? It magnifies by like 8,000. You can see the hair in a gnat's leg with a makeup mirror. And if that isn't bad enough, she plugs in enough light you could bring ships in from the fog with this much light. I had a Cessna land on my front lawn. Sorry, thought it was an airport. And the whole time she's got these tweezers, she's plucking at nothing, going, I'm a yak, I'm a hairy yak, look at me. I said, let me help you out, sweetheart. I unplugged everything. I went, oh, look, Tammy, they're gone. Yeah. And she says, but I know they're there. I said, but you can't see them. She says, but they're there. So what? If I don't see it, it's not there. That'd be like me going back to my hotel room tonight, getting it pitch black, grabbing a black light, and going over my comforter with the black light. It's all there! 17 conceptions, 12 murders, look at this! I'd never lay down again. I'd be in the corner like a horse the rest of my life, just standing, oh my Lord. Do they even do laundry in this place? My poor wife hasn't had a hot dog since 1987 because of a 60 Minutes expose that said they have rat hair in them. So what? You can't see them. If you're eating a hot dog because you think it's good for you, you're a moron. Man. Here's how I handle my body at 67. This is how I handle it. I get out of the shower, I look in the mirror, yuck, and I keep walking. I'm not dwelling on that any longer. Yeah. I am 67. I got my Medicare card. I got Medicare. Thank you. I got my card. I told Tammy I'm going to the doctor. She says, what's wrong? I said, I don't know. It's $12. I'm going every day. Yeah, a lot of old men go to the park and feed pigeons every day. Me, I'm going to urologist. I'm just going to sit there. Something's going to break and I'm going to be right there when it does. Just walk over and say, hey, this just fell off. Do I need it? Let me know. I will tell you one thing that's bothered me at my age, right, is my memory. My memory's not all that good. And my neighbor lady threw me for a loop. She's 79 years old. She tells me she had to take a cognitive test to get her license renewed in Tennessee, where I live. I said, cognitive? You're sharp. She is. She's a sharp old gal. And she said, well, the memory part of the test threw me. And I said, the government tests your memory to give you a driver's license? What do they care if you drive around aimlessly and don't know where you're going? I mean, really, the question is, can you drive? So then I said, what's the test? And she says they give you 5 things, and 20 minutes later, you got to remember all 5 things. Tammy looked at me and said, you're never hanging on to your license. I said, what are you talking about? She said, the grocery store is 8 minutes from our house. I give you 3 things to remember. How many times are you calling me 9 minutes later asking me what the 3 things are? And I thought about it. I said, you know, you're right. So since last July, I've been studying for my cognitive test. I go to the grocery store. I won't call her. I won't text her. I'm bringing home those 3 things. Sometimes I come home with 20 things, hoping the 3 things are in there. We have a lot of butter in our house, a lot of butter. Matter of fact, you have dinner with us, we give you a stick for the ride home. That's it. Yeah, we hand it out on Halloween. Yeah. Kids love it. They think it's a full-size Snickers bar, you know. No, it's Land O'Lakes, kids, you know. Who doesn't like lard? You know? I'm worried, I'm telling you, man. So I see an ad on TV for an all-natural pill called Prevagen. Anybody see it? Yeah, all natural. And I'm ready to buy it. I'm ready to pull the trigger. And the voiceover guy goes, and the key ingredient comes from the oil of a jellyfish. I looked at Tammy and said, do jellyfish have good memories? The only time I've ever seen a jellyfish, they're dying on the shore because they forgot to go back out with the tide. The one thing they need for survival is water, and they're 4 feet away going, we're forgetting something, Herbie. What are we forgetting? That's how I know evolution is suspect. Millions of years of dying 3 feet from survival, you'd think they would have evolved some feet by now. Not big human feet, just little jellyfish feet so they could run up and catch the water. Maybe even a jelly roll, just kind of move in that direction. Boy. Everything in my life now is pre-COVID, post-COVID. It really is, isn't it? You know, where did we meet? When did we meet? Was it before the scourge, after the scourge? Tammy got mad at me during COVID because I was golfing. We live in the country, we live rural. I was golfing 5 days a week, and she's mad. She goes, you're gonna bring the COVID home, like it's a human being. I said, I'm golfing, I'm outdoors. She goes, what precautions are you taking? I said, well, we quit kissing after birdies. Does that work for you? What are you talking about? Besides, we play woke golf. That's what we play, woke golf. Woke golf is when you hit your tee shot, you get to pick your ball up and put it where you feel it should be. I don't want to brag, but I had 42 hole-in-ones last week. I'm telling you, we lost our minds during COVID. Did we need an overpriced bureaucrat to tell me after shaking 100 hands in a night, hey, don't do this? And that whole 6-foot thing, where did that come from? How did they come up with that? In a laboratory? Hey, sneeze. Measure that. You know what COVID taught me? Socialism will never work in America. That's what it taught me. COVID hit, and the richest nation in the history of the world was out of toilet paper in 3 days. I mean, come on. I don't even get that. CDC came out and said, you know, it's a severe respiratory illness. And the entire nation said, we need toilet paper. I think you're wiping the wrong end, sport. And I figured that out on my own. I'm not a doctor. Yeah, I'm not a bright guy. I barely got through high school. I'm a 2.0 C student. I really am. And I know we have some teachers here. School's changed, I'll tell you that. I mean, really. I mean, you think you could forgo the social engineering for a couple of semesters and teach some basic math. Just basic. I'm not kidding you. My mother used to hold up flashcards when I was a kid at the dinner table. I would eat dinner and I'd see 9 and 5, 8 and 4, 7 and 3. You know, to this day, I don't want to brag. But I could see a couple numbers on a piece of paper, and whether I want to solve that problem or not, my brain just solves it. I'll see 8 and 5, my brain goes 13. Oh, I didn't even want to solve that. It's gotten to the point where I go to McDonald's now, if there's a young guy behind the counter, I wait for him to ring it up, I hand him some cash, and then I wait, and I go, oh, wait a minute, I just found 3 pennies. Yeah, I just step back and watch the show. They start using the new math. They came up with new math. Can these people leave anything alone? We went to the moon on the old math. Einstein did good with old math. What was the new math? Old math too mathy for the new people? I don't, you know, it's awful mathy. Let's change that. You watch the Common Core? Have you seen this? I mean, well, let's see. The bill was $7.23. I'll make that 3 a 5. That 2 is 0. I'll make that 7 and 8. You gave me a 10. I'll make that an 11. Why not? An 11? Oh, but you gave me 3 pennies. Oh, gosh. Oh. Is there a homeschooled kid in this room? Somebody? How do they do it? I read where they won't even grade English papers in public school with red ink, because apparently the sight of red ink on a piece of paper is too traumatic for our children. Really? I don't know about you geniuses, but my English papers came back looking like OJ's driveway, all right? Yeah. My father would pick up my paper and go, holy cow, this is your native tongue, you moron. I had trouble with punctuation. I really did. I didn't get it. To this day, I don't understand. I'd hyphenate my thoughts in school. I'd write hyphen. So I'd get my paper back, and it was covered with periods and commas, red periods and commas. You know. Anyway, that's when I figured it out. Periods and commas were costing me points. So I write my paper, hyphen. At the bottom of the page, I would put a bunch of periods and commas. With a note to the teacher, if he could just put those where those belong. That would really help me out. It's a different world, it really is. Kids today, Tammy and I laid in bed and talked about it. If we raised our kids today the way we raised them 30 years ago, we would definitely lose custody. We know that. Some Karen down the street would call it in on us. Their children are in the streets playing unsupervised without a helmet. We did. We let our children play in the streets without supervision. We felt their intellect had evolved enough to get out of the way of a moving vehicle. And if not, we would just go in the house and make another one. We knew how to do that. Yes. I'm telling you, man, the people. I went to a friend's house. They had a lock on a toilet bowl in the bathroom, and I said, "What are you afraid your kids are going to drown in there?" And he said, "No, they were throwing things in the toilet bowl and clogging it up." And I said, "You teach your children not to throw things in the toilet bowl. You're not going to unleash your kids on the rest of the world." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Your kids are going to go to somebody's house. Look, no lock." And I don't know about any man in this room, but at my age, I got a 3-second delay between my brain going, I gotta go. So I'm running down the hall and buckling as I'm gotta get to the bathroom, A lock, there's a lock. What's the combination? He doesn't want his kids there. Now he's gotta walk all the way across the room. It's too late, look at me. So I'm walking to go home to change clothes, and his son walks over. He's like 8 years old. He goes, it's 345. Ain't fooling anybody. It's a different world. These parents that just hover over their children. My mother was the antithesis. I was a free-range kid, believe me. She took a turn one day. I flew out the back door of the car, and I laid in the street. She drove 5 blocks before she figured out I was even missing. Then she pulls up. She still doesn't even get out of the car. Get out, get in the car. What are you doing there? I'm late. Get in the car. One day I gashed my knee. I slid in my yard, gashed my knee on some broken glass or something. I don't know. Anyway, I was bleeding profusely from my knee. I was kind of just standing there, and she, first words out of my mother's mouth when she saw, oh, stop bleeding on the rug. I'll never get that out. Get in the kitchen. Didn't matter, cuts, bruises, whatever. We had mercurochrome and Bactine. That cured everything. Remember mercurochrome? For you young people, that was the precursor to chemo in America. My mother would take the lid off and 12 flies would drop dead from the sky. It was mercury. We poured it on open wounds. What could go wrong with that? If you're over 50 in America, you got more mercury in your body right now than a school of salmon. I just got fillings taken out of my mouth. 20 years ago, I found out they had mercury in my mouth. All these years, I thought they were made out of lead. Thanks for getting that one. You have no idea how many audiences just stare at me. And Bactine, I remember Bactine, that hurt worse than any cut you ever had. You had to really weigh it out. She comes walking over, I need to spray that. No, you don't. No, you do it. That gets infected, you could lose a leg. I got 2, Mom, I got 2, So to take my mind off the pain of the Bactine, right before she squirted my wound, my mom would stab me in the eye with an ice pick. It worked. By the way, that video got taken off of Instagram for violence. I'm so glad they're looking out for us. Oh, boy. So anyway, we have grown boys. Tammy raised them. She really did. I was out of town all the time. My wife basically took infant boys, we have 2 of them, infant boys through adolescence into adulthood. My sons are good husbands, they're good fathers, and they're good citizens, and that's on her. She did an amazing job. She really did. But that was her. About a year into our marriage, I got home from the road one day, and she says, get over here, I need to talk to you. And I sit down, and she says, now, don't get angry. When nobody knows you better than your wife. So when she prefaces the conversation with don't get angry, she knows you're going to get angry. I mean, and you lie to your wife, okay, I won't, because you want to hear what she has to say. So you're already sitting at 50. You're simmering right here. So anyway, she says, when you come home from the road, you disrupt everything in this house. You just like a bull in a china shop. We have a way of doing things. We have a rhythm to our life here. You come in, you disrupt the entire rhythm. So from here on out, when you come home from the road, don't do anything. Nothing. I mean, what do you mean? Nothing. Do the outside, do the lawn, do the landscape, but nothing in the house. You okay? I go, yeah. Anyway, she leaves. And I'm sitting there thinking, why did she think I'd get angry at that? What did she think I was going to say? No, I'm doing the laundry. So for all these years, I never really did anything. And now all of a sudden, they leave. Empty nest. She's devastated. I thought that was the whole point. Raise your kids and get them out as soon as possible. I was brainwashed to leave my home at 18. Every time I complained at all as a child, my parents said the exact same thing every time. These mashed potatoes are cold. When you're 18 and you have your own place, you can have all the hot mashed potatoes you want, Jeffrey. I just assumed 18 you left. They got me a suitcase for my 18th birthday. I said, where am I gonna go? I don't have any place to live. I don't have a job. You'll figure it out. We love you, son. You know. Who knew you could live at home till you're 50 and become a U.S. Senator? Holy cow. So I had to go on Google and read blogs written by women who wrote about empty nest. And anyway, it's a real thing, you know. And women nurture for that long, and then they leave, and now they have a hole in their soul, and they're looking for something, a new nurturing project. And the only one standing there is their husband. I don't want to be a project. I don't want to be anything. And it started with something simple. I got up one day at 7 in the morning. She's been up since 5. And I walk into the kitchen. You know, you're rubbing stuff out of your eyes. And she looks at me and says, what do you want for dinner? It's 7 a.m. I don't know what I want. I don't know. Dinner? I don't know. Hot mashed potatoes? That would be nice. It got so bad within 3 days, I couldn't get out of my bed. I was paralyzed in the morning until I had an answer to that stupid dinner question. She's going to ask. I don't know what I want. And what killed me, no matter what we decided at 7 a.m., we never had at 6 p.m., ever. I thought we were having spaghetti. I don't want spaghetti. You wanted it at 7 a.m.? I tell you that to tell you this. Her mother passes away, and that first Christmas, she says to me, my father's going to come and stay with us for a couple of weeks over Christmas. I said, absolutely. He needs to be around family this time of year. So anyway, a week and a half into my father-in-law's visit, I hear him on the telephone say, I like it here. I think I'll move in. I didn't know you could do that. And he moved in. We're nice people, you know, okay. And I was angry. I really was upset about it. And then he got up at 6:30 one morning, and I heard Tammy say, what do you want for dinner, Dad? I think she's got a new project, and it's not me. She took over her father's life. He was 78 years old. All he wanted to do was watch Gunsmoke and eat ice cream. That's it. And 4 days into living his dream, she says, get in the car. You're not sitting in that chair the rest of your life. She takes him down to the YMCA. She signed him up for the Silver Sneakers Senior Exercise Program. She took him down there every day like it was an 8-year-old boy. She signed him in, she signed him out. She made the poor man eat vegetables. He ain't had a vegetable in a half a century. I'm watching him eat broccoli one night. He was chewing it like it was gravel. He's like, ah! What's going on, Mike? Oh, if I don't eat the broccoli, she doesn't give me the ice cream. And you think that would be enough? He goes to sit down. She says, no, it's a beautiful night. We live in the country. Walk. She made him walk after dinner every night. Walk. And I got fascinated with my father-in-law's walks. I would watch him go back and forth. Tammy comes over one night. What's with you and my dad? That's my future if he ever leaves. I'm keeping an eye, make sure everything's safe. I don't want some wolf coming out and tearing a leg off of us. So one night I'm watching, and he face plants. He just trips, and he's bleeding. And by the way, if you and your wife have to take a bleeding senior to the emergency room, you and your wife get your story straight before you get to the emergency room. You don't want to be ad-libbing, talking on the fly here. It got ugly fast. Tammy looked in the doctor's eyes and lied to him. Oh, my father likes to walk after dinner every night. I blurred out, no, he doesn't. Yeah, that and a spinal tap would make his day. Are you kidding me? He hates walking. They immediately separated us and put us in 2 different rooms. I'm getting grilled. I finally realized, you thought I punched him? I love that old man. He saved my life. 4 months he lived with us. And then one day I'm walking by his room. He's packing a suitcase. I go, where you going, Pop? I'm out of here. I don't want to get married again. You can't leave. She's going to look for me as a project. So anyway, he left, and about a week later, we're watching TV. Tammy doesn't watch TV. She crochets. So she's crocheting. And we quit watching things with subtitles because I got sick of reading to her. So anyway, at one point, we're watching something. Anyway, she pauses the TV, and there's this moment where you're just kind of going, what's going on? She looks at me after a few seconds. She says, you need to trim your nose hairs. We're watching a movie. I think she has conversations in her head while she's crocheting that I'm not privy to. And then she brings me in at the conclusion. Look at him sitting over there with that shaggy stuff hanging out of his nose, his ears. How does he live? You don't even see that. You need to get your nose hairs trimmed. Oh, one night we're watching TV, out of nowhere, she pauses the TV. Now, I've learned when my wife pauses the TV, I just say, what? Because I know she's been thinking. She pauses, she says, there's mouse poop in the shed. I said, well, that's probably because there's mice in the shed. She says, you know that? I go, well, it's not like I walk out in the shed, they come out and go, hey, Jeff, good to see you. I'm just thinking like a mouse, you know, on a cold, rainy day, shed's not a bad place to seek some shelter. And if they got to drop a deuce, they're not going to go outside to do it. She says, I'm never going in the shed again. I go, why not? She goes, it's mice. I go, Tammy, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to go in the shed, they're going to come out and beat up your big toe? She said, I want a cat. I said, I don't want a cat. No. Anyway, we get in an argument over the cat. No, I don't want another animal in the house. Anyway, a week later, she comes upstairs and she says, there's mouse poop in the basement. I want a cat. I said, fine. Okay, fine. I'm done. She broke me, sir. She broke me. I said, get a cat. So you know what she did? Went out and bought a cat. Bought a cat. There are no more free cats in North America? Is that another supply chain issue I keep reading about? Bars full of cats off of Long Beach Harbor can't get to shore because of government regulation on cats. Free the cats, Buttigieg. Buttigieg. I was watching our president speak, Joe, and about 4 minutes into his talk, I paused the TV. Tammy goes, what? I said, is it me or does our president look like he'd be a lot happier watching Gunsmoke and eating ice cream? Looks tired. I did that joke in South Carolina, and a woman sends me a page-and-a-half email. She was upset because I was picking on our president. And he's just trying to save the free world. Made me laugh too. So anyway, I read the whole thing. I sent her a short email back. I said, look, I normally don't reply, but I said, I got one question for you. You don't even have to reply to me. Just answer the question honestly to yourself. If you owned a Starbucks, would you let Joe Biden work your register? You know you wouldn't let him run the latte machine. You let him greet at the door. Would you not let him greet at the door? He's an affable guy. Let him greet your customers. He'd shake their hand, I'm Joe Biden. And then he would regale them with stories on how years ago he walked the Colombian forest with Juan Valdez himself. Matter of fact, he, Joe Biden, personally handpicked those beans. They're roasting right now for your cup of coffee. You'd be so happy you'd say, thanks, Joe. I just had a cup of Joe with Joe. Anyway, I started comedy in 1978. That's when I started. So, 1982, all I ever wanted to do was Vegas. That was my goal. So 4 years into it, I get booked in Vegas for a month, and a whole month. And I got 3 nights off before the next job. And I'm golfing with a guy I don't know. And it turns out he's Wayne Newton's sound man. So he says to me, you want to go see Wayne Newton? 1982, are you kidding me? Wayne Newton was the quintessential Las Vegas entertainer. He was at the top of his game. I got a chance to stand in the back of the room and watch the King of Vegas work 3 nights in a row. It was amazing. And he did not disappoint, man. That first night, he's got an orchestra leader. He's got an orchestra. He's tan, trim, not a hair out of place, tuxedo. He hits the stage on fire. Dunk-a-shane, dunk-a-dunk-a-dunk-shane, dunk-a-shane, dunk-a-shane, dunk-a-shane. Within 10 minutes, he's sweating, and he's wiping the sweat off with a towel. He throws the towel into the crowd. Women are fighting over the sweaty towel. And 20 minutes in, the first room key flew up on stage. Back in the 80s, room keys were made out of brass. These were life-threatening projectiles. that were just clang, clang, and he's dodging them, clang, duck-a-shane, duck-a-shane. And then underwear, panties started coming up. And again, this was the 80s, before Victoria's Secret, so. Just saying, a couple of those panties took a while to hit the stage. Duck-a-shane. In an hour, he does a ballad. He sits on a stool, he does a ballad, and then he does the ballad. Beautiful song, beautiful. Stands up, he says, look, I gotta tell you the truth. At this point of the show, we have one more number. It's upbeat. We want you leaving upbeat. But gosh, he goes, Johnny, to his musical director, is this not the greatest crowd we've ever, best crowd we've ever had? And he says, it is, Wayne, it really is. And he says, do you think we could do 3 more songs or so for these people? And he said, whatever you want. Now, you have to understand Vegas, how it works. They lose money on every show they produce. The whole point is to get you feeling good, keep you in their hotel, so on the way to your car, you lose your mortgage. That's the goal. I had a friend that was opening for Paul Anka back in 1982, and he was supposed to do 25 minutes. He did 28 minutes. Some guy in the casino got in his face and said, those 3 extra minutes you just did cost this casino $45,000. Do it again tomorrow night, it's coming out of your check. You were hired to do 25. That doesn't mean 23, 24, 26, but certainly not 28. 25, and my buddy goes, I got it. He said the next night, he was in the middle of a joke, and he goes, I gotta go. So for Wayne Newton to call for 3 extra songs, do the math on that one for the casino. That's how big a star Wayne Newton was. And the crowd knew it, and they were on their feet cheering and applauding. It was an amazing show. I was blown away. Couldn't wait for the next. I come back next night, same thing, duck-a-shane, you know, sweaty towel. Keys in underwear again. Keys flying up, clang, clang, underwear. And then in an hour, he sits on a stool, does the ballad, stands up, and he goes, you know what, we normally wrap it up at this point in one more song. Is this not the best crowd we've ever had? Yeah, I'm in the back of the room. I'm a new entertainer. I go, wait a minute, this isn't right. Is he manipulating? And then I thought about it. I go, you know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I just witnessed the 2 greatest shows, the greatest Vegas entertainer Wayne Newton has ever produced. I don't know. Gave him the benefit of the doubt. Look, I've been at this since 1978, and I can tell you, not one pair of panties have ever flown up on my stage. Not one. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Next night I come back, sits on a stool at an hour, stands up, and he goes, we normally do one more, but is this not the greatest crowd we've ever? And that's when it hits me. He's manipulating these people. He's probably not even doing extra time. Casino gave him an hour and 15. At an hour, he's trying to tell them, I'm gonna give you extra 15 minutes because I like you that much. He's manipulating these people. Ticked me off. I only told you that because I normally wrap it up at this point. You guys have been the best crowd I've ever had. Back the charges and let me come back to Provo. And then she says, you know, if I'd known you were going to turn out to be the man you turned out to be, I would have had a lot more children with you. I know a lot of you are like me. You're looking for the compliment in there somewhere. I mean, there has to be a compliment. Trust me, there is dating romance and there is marital romance. And the 2 are about as related as walking through a field and walking through a field full of Claymore mines. I mean, they are not even closely related.